We're gonna bleep it.
Let me start over. Yeah.
There's gonna be so much bleeping.
It's literally all of me.
Hello and welcome to our newly created podcast. We're Melanie and Urška, and the beautiful company behind this podcast is called Bellabeat. And I think it's fair that we start with a short presentation of who we are, what we're doing right now.
I've created some slides.
Okay. Are we gonna project?
We're gonna project them. Yeah. We can just show them right here. We can input them at the end of the
we can. Yeah. So just buckle up because this is gonna last for a really long time.
At least 30 minutes. I love presentations.
Exactly.
My middle name is Presentations, Melanie Presentations Messina.
All right, so we're off to a strong start.
Right.
But yeah, thank you, Melanie, for helping me create this beautiful podcast.
You're welcome,
just started.
Yes, my pleasure.
So we hope it's going to be beautiful. But yeah, we'll be talking about women's wellness and a little bit of other stuff as well.
Man bashing. But we don't want to give away any surprises just yet, right?
No, but I think you'll see it pretty
Everyone
quickly.
is going to have so much value gained from this.
Exactly.
Why?
Because of us.
What do you mean? So, do you want to...
I'll take it from here. Let me take it from here. So as Urška so beautifully introduced me, I would like to introduce Urška first. She is the co-founder of Bellabeat. She is basically the brains and the beauty behind Bellabeat. I would say, I know that she says she has another co-founder, which is Sandro Murr, who she met in college. He's the engineering part of it, but this is a wellness podcast, so let's go back into you.
Exactly.
And you're the brains behind the products. You're the brains behind pretty much all of, I would say, I mean, call me biased, but I would say all of it. Like all of Bellabeat.
I'm just trying to figure it out. Is it the brains or is it something else?
The bronze. I would also say the bronze behind it.
Bronze.
Yeah. But no,
I'm more like the engine.
The engine.
Yeah,
Ooh, I'll agree with that.
I'm the hard worker.
And
this company
and the heart
of our co-founding duo.
I
Is
like
that
that.
fair to say?
That's fair to say. That's fair because it's your podcast, so you can say that.
But yeah, we wanted to start this podcast because as a company, we're already producing all these products that help women live in sync with their cycle and live healthier, better lives. To exercise, eat better, meditate, everything, according to their bodies.
Right. And
also track a whole lot of stuff regarding their health and cycle. Mm-hmm. But now we also...
hang on, let me interrupt because it's based just for women. And that is something that I absolutely value with this company is that because everything is based on women's bodies, research on women, and there is not a single... male aspect to it because Apple used males to test their products on, Garmin did it, Fitbit did it, Aura did it, and nothing is tailored to the females, and so that's something that should really be said and thrown out there.
I mean, obviously we do have male co-workers.
Well,
we do allow men to contribute and participate in the development of our products for women. But yeah, everything that we create is created specifically for women. It's based on knowledge and scientific research done on female bodies, about female health. So basically, it's a very unique company in the space of quantified self, wearables, and also digital coaching. So basically online coaching without a person coach, but using AI. To achieve that. So I'm very proud to have created this company. I'm very proud of our team and of our achievements and products, and also obviously the community that we were able to create. So all of our users. I think we have we're in such an exciting space, and we have so much space to innovate and create and still do so much good.
Which brings us to why we have this podcast.
Exactly. Another innovation.
Yeah. Another innovation and another space to
conquer.
Just to conquer.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the coaching thing. My part of the job involves the coaching, setting it up, and creating the content for it. But why don't you give us a little example of like why the coaching part is so special to you, and why that was a huge part of Bellabeat in the application?
Yeah. So the coach part is super exciting because when we started the company in 2014, that was just a time when the whole quantified self market and wearables and devices for tracking different aspects of health were taking off, and we decided to create this company because we saw that everybody kind of overlooked women and wanted to create something for them, something that they would enjoy using, so something that would be fit their style and lifestyle, and just something that they would use even without technology,
right?
But also something that would actually help them track things that are relevant to them. So not just steps or active time or sleep time, but also reproductive health.
Cool.
So period and pregnancy, and then we also added mindfulness tracking, and we also developed a smart water bottle for tracking hydration.
That's key.
So basically we threw ourselves into developing hardware for wearables and smart water bottles for tracking the health of women. But obviously years later we came to a point where we saw that this is not enough, that tracking data is just the first step.
It's the first step, right?
Because what do you then do with all that data?
Exactly.
Women got this really holistic oversight of all of the things that are important to their health and wellness, but they were kind of left to their own devices to what to do with it, how to act upon it, how to improve their life.
Exactly.
Based on that data.
Yeah.
So
because data is one thing, right? But then you have
Exactly.
to how do you even translate that? What does it mean? Like, why
Exactly.
is this important to me? Yeah. Like what? Yeah.
Exactly. So for the last couple of years, we've really been dedicated to developing that next step, and that is basically using your data to formulate personalized program that helps you achieve your goals. So whether that is just losing some extra weight or getting fit, to even sleeping better, improving your sex life, or conceiving a baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or going through all the different changes that as women go through. So
we're not
the
linear
pregnancy,
people.
Postpartum, and then hopefully later on also menopause.
Cool.
So basically we developed this AI that takes your data in account, your biometric data that you track with your with our wearables, so basically called Ivy. You track your sleep quality, your readiness, your cardiac coherence, respiratory rate, all sorts of biometric data, all sorts of lifestyle data, so your activity patterns, your sleep patterns, your meditation activities, and then also your reproductive health, so your cycles or your pregnancy, and then combines all of that data.
Today's world is we're learning how to heal, and we're especially with Bellabeat, we're taking the taboo out. We're saying no, we're going to talk about this. We're going to normalize it.
This is what this podcast is for. Now we found it. We found it. This is what we're doing it for.
Type it down so we don't forget. Yeah.
Exactly. We're doing it because women need it.
Because they need it. Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're going to call it Because You Need It.
And we need a space to vent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The world needs our opinion. There's 7 billion, almost 8 billion people.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So almost half of it is men.
49%, yeah. I don't know if those statistics are still correct, but because this is what
49.6% women and 50.4%.
That's what's wrong with the world.
In Bellabeat world, there's more women.
Yeah.
So Bellabeat has more than 60%.
Oh.
More than 60% of female employees.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You didn't know?
No. Oh, I had no idea.
We should write that on the wall.
We should.
Everybody look at it
Actually, you know what I'm actually really super curious about, especially with the people that identify as male here, the males, how their mentality has changed since working
Oh,
for
so
women's
much.
wellness.
I actually love hearing stories from our male colleagues about like, what they thought they were, taking on. It's like what they were, entering and like what it turns out to be. Turned out to be. And how their mindset changed. So I think like we should do a full podcast about it and like ask them
With the guys.
Yeah, with the guys, and just ask them, because I think they
Maybe
have
for social media as well.
they have super interesting stories, because not only they have to be part of the conversations and the creation, they also test all of our products. So basically, they pretend they have all the female functions.
Yeah.
And they test it, they follow through all the tracking. So basically
like creating helping create algorithms that are based on like the female data and stuff, and
they know a lot about it now.
Especially like the readiness score, how it takes into account for your cycle. Like whenever our data daddy was whenever our colleague was creating that, he had to take into account for the cycle, and so he had a deep dive. I mean, we know he really dove deep into the subject matter of the cycle, because he was talking for 18 hours a day with our chief medical officer about it.
Many times.
But just the amount of knowledge and the amount of just like, holy shit, this is what's going on with women, like they deal with this all the time. Like
Bellabeat people that work at the Bellabeat, they're super engaged in the topic, in the matter itself. I mean, it's hugely complex what we're working on, so you can't do it halfway. So I think it's super interesting to see how, people adopt this kind of mindset and knowledge and, take a deep dive.
And maybe how they, translate that to their own lives and to their own partners or to their own children, to their friends, family members. Like, does it come up? I would love to see if, one of our, engineers was like, hey, honey, I'm not going to ask you if you're like in your this phase, but you're doing this, and this. Have you considered doing this? Like, I would love to know that.
Should we adjust our lunch
to
accommodate the power? But that would be awesome. No, but I think like gender dynamics at work is so important, even if we didn't work on what we're working on, female specific products, because I think this is what going back to the previous problem, like women being kept out of workforce, out of their careers. So that has reflected a lot on how modern workspaces, modern companies look like, and only like it's slowly changing. It's slowly kind of like becoming more diverse environment in the workforce and so forth. But it brings so much value to the company. It brings up so many new perspectives. And also in general, what I notice is that often women are so much more hardworking, because basically throughout their lives they had to prove harder, they had to work harder to get to the same level as their male colleagues have. So I think men in very near future will have to do a lot of catching up to do with women, because women are force of nature in the workforce.
Absolutely.
I mean, everywhere in life, but me as a employer, as a
business owner,
I really see it firsthand. Women are force of nature.
Whenever we hired one of my teammates, the first day she went to the bathroom, she was on her period, so TMI, but I'm not gonna name drop her, kind of.
Again, we have to bleep things. Like, we have to bleep so many things.
So whenever she went to the bathroom, and she saw the pads in there, multiple sizes, and she saw the tampons in there. We were selling menstrual cups, but we were like, hey, you work here, here's a menstrual cup if you want one. She came out of the bathroom, she's literally here for 5 minutes, and she comes out of the bathroom, and she's like, I can't believe it. This is amazing. I took pictures of it, sent it to all my friends, and like showed them like what companies can freaking do just to support their female employees. And that's such a huge thing, because I don't think I've ever worked anywhere. This is the only place I've ever worked. I've had multiple jobs. Like, I just multiple jobs, and I've worked in several different countries, and this is the only company that's ever had menstrual products in the bathroom for females. Like, come on.
I mean,
and dry shampoo.
That's so sad to hear.
Yeah.
that we are the ones.
Yeah. But it's like a standard here, you know?
Yeah.
Like just.
But I think like what is super like sad about it, that this is like so easy to do and like so cheap to do. And it's just the basics.
It's the bare
It's just
minimum.
like the bare minimum of comfort for your employees.
Yeah.
Another minimum at work, in a work environment that you should ensure as an employer to attract female employees is also safety.
Yeah, safety.
Safety at work. So basically, taking any harassment or so forth very seriously.
Very seriously.
And
yeah.
also curating, policing.
We're creating
Conversation.
Well, yeah, and like, but creating an environment that's safe
Creating
for the
an
women.
environment
Yeah.
that is safe for women, comfortable, safe and
Comfortable,
comfortable
safe, yeah.
for women.
No BS policy. You
Exactly.
know? Yeah.
And yeah, just be aware of like the value that diversity at work brings.
Absolutely.
For the productivity of the team, for the comfort of the team, and so forth. So yeah, there's very simple steps that employers can take, and then we can go up to more complicated ones, which is like the maternity leaves.
Yeah, but even period leave.
Period leaves.
Yeah.
That one's easy. So basically, you don't even have to have period leave. You can just accommodate your employees.
So it's something here, like we say, hey, I'm gonna work from home. Like,
Exactly.
I have terrible cramps. I don't function well in front of people when I'm cramping. Like I make terrible mistakes and I say terrible things to people.
Yeah.
And if we want to keep the environment safe, like it's in my best interest and your best interest, let me work from home, right?
Or take rest.
Or take rest, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, just accommodating your employees' basic health needs.
Yeah.
We don't have to, just talk about women's health, but in general.
Yeah. Even mental health and things, and that goes for both the sexes here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also ensuring that people get holidays.
Yeah.
Europe is big on holidays.
We love our holidays.
We love our holidays. So yeah, definitely. Work-life balance and the quality of work that we do and the quality of the work environment that we're part of, super important for life quality. In any company there are stressful periods, there's work that has to be done. We are all part of very competitive landscape that is sometimes really hard to navigate.
Tech, yeah.
And super stressful for everybody, but we're still at the end of the day, we're humans.
Yeah.
And we need to first and foremost take care of our own well-being and health so that we can then properly function.
Exactly.
And contribute also to the company that we're part of.
Which is also brings us back to the Bellabeat and to the app and to the hardware like Ivy and Spring. And so it's giving you all of these, again, we're going to go back to tools. Just having the tools necessary. I know when I'm on the verge of just not being so productive at work, it's when my readiness score drops.
Yeah.
And I wake up one day and it's literally 36 and I'm like, yeah, I am suffering. And I kind of reflect a little bit and I'm like, oh, I wasn't taking good care of myself and I am really stressed out.
Yeah.
Even my stress my stress index, it's maybe don't go outside today.
With what is interesting with the tech tools is that data doesn't lie.
Data doesn't lie.
Data doesn't lie.
That.
So what is interesting, the interesting thing that I've noticed is that sometimes my readiness is poor, but because I am wired the way I'm wired, I choose to ignore it.
Okay.
And I mentally overcome it, or even I've already woken up supercharged, and I'm no, I have to do this. I'm super busy, so I ignore my readiness score. The next day, or the day after that, I'm crashing.
Yeah.
And it's cold sores, or I get a fever. Or just can't get out of the bed simply. So data doesn't lie. That's why tools like that are super important. When you use Ivy to track you day and night, you get statistics that is or data that is accurate, and based on that you can draw conclusions that are more realistic.
Yeah.
Because sometimes our mind tricks us because we want things, because
And as
we
women,
think
we
they're
always
important.
want to go above and beyond.
Exactly.
And sometimes we just can't. It's not.
Exactly.
It's not in the cards for us that day, and that's okay. That is a-okay.
Yeah. But we're wired to overdo everything, to push ourselves over the edge, to never allow ourselves to feel tired, to take rest, and so forth.
Yep.
So it's a
So
wake
just
up,
keep
it can be a
going.
wake up call.
And that's actually a really I value that feature so much, because like I do some days wake up and I feel really good, but I know like I'm not actually feeling good, and so it causes me like to pause. Like I look at my readiness and I'm like, I know I am not on point today. I know I am not going to recover well. Like, and I'm not recovering well. I know I need to take it easy, but like I always have that like just voice in the back of my mind, especially like that little American back there that's just like, no, you have to do it. You have to do it. Go, go, go. No time to rest. You can sleep when you're dead, kind of thing. But like, no. And then, so like, that's why I value it so much, because I can be like, oh, sorry, Urška, I can't do shit today because like my readiness is so low, and you don't want me making decisions like this, do you? But no, I don't do that. But
but like the outcome is always bad.
It is.
It's
and
always
because
bad. Like it maybe you can go through it for a little bit of time, but then the outcome is always bad.
I don't make good decisions. I'm a little bit, testier with like my colleagues. I'm testier with like my boyfriend. I'm testier with my family. Like I'm not in a good place. And so if I would just listen to my body, if I would listen to the data, I would just be like, I'm just going to kind of like separate myself a little bit today and just kind of focus on what I can take care of. So then if I'm like in luteal or something, okay, let's focus on those administrative tasks that I need to do. I'm going to go into my tables. Maybe I make a presentation.
Exactly. I mean, like the important thing about the guidance that we include in the app is, we talked about balance before. It's not just the things that you should do on a certain day, but also things that you shouldn't do.
You shouldn't do.
So basically taking time to rest, taking time for yourself as well. Equally important as eating healthily, sleeping enough, exercising, equally important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so now more than ever it's important for women to understand their cycle, understand their fertility, and consequences of
what can happen.
Exactly, of their actions as well, and just plan them accordingly.
Just give them the tools that they need so they can make the right, or
make
the informed decision that they want so they can live their life the way, absolutely.
Exactly, the way they want. Even women that did get education, like health education or sex education in school, still have very basic knowledge of their cycles. And, there's still so much more that they can, educate themselves on and use to plan their own future.
Exactly.
So,
let's talk about
cycle
discharge.
mapping is much more complicated than just marking the days of your period on a piece of paper,
exactly,
on a paper calendar.
So, and like, it's not just that, but it's my health. I understand my body through my discharge. Exactly. I'm not gonna lie. If I have if it's a little bit discolored, what does that color mean? I know, do I have an infection? Oh, I'm about to start my period. Oh, I'm ovulating and I should not have sex right now because I'm not trying to conceive. No, there's so much information that shows up on your underwear. Come on.
Yeah.
And so it's we call it the fifth vital sign, right?
Exactly.
And that's exactly what it is.
Exactly.
Your cycle is that. It tells you what you need to know.
And I think we've written so many articles on it. So up until now, I've read every article that your team has produced. It's mind blowing. But it's now all in our app. So up for grabs for
just read it.
So again, there's so much information that some of it is really nice to have, but some of it is crucial.
It's vital.
It's vital. Am I ovulating or did
I get an STD from that guy that I had sex with 3 months ago? But and it tells you, your body tells you, and it's not just in the app, because this is such an important piece of information, especially for our audience. We also post it on our blogs and our social media, and I really love the people that interact with us on our social media as well. And we have this new trend going where we're talking about when you started your period.
Yeah, I think we should do a full episode on that.
Absolutely.
Because we're getting the best ones.
I want to do a discharge episode as well.
We can do that one.
Because I can ask any of my friends, I can talk for hours about discharge. When, you know, people are like, what's something that you can talk hours about? Discharge.
And think about discharge is that like...
The dish about discharge.
The dish about discharge is that if period is taboo, and like women don't talk about period, they talk even less about discharge. Because it's always like in the back of your mind, oh, is this an STD? Is it fine guy?
Do I have BV?
Yeah. So
literally in my mind yesterday.
Yeah, but like we should talk more about it like publicly as well. Like we should create that trend on TikTok.
I like that. Let's talk about discharge. Actually, and my sister's gonna kill me probably for sharing this, but I remember when I think she was probably 14, and so I was 9 years old or something. I remember we went to the doctor one day with my mom because she was like finding this like strange stuff in her underwear. And my mom, you know, she had jobs, like she wasn't like able to like really investigate her. So she's like, okay, we're just gonna go to the doctor, see what this is about. And so then I remember being in the doctor's office, like sitting on the table, and like my sister's standing there. She has her arms out, and she's like doing these tests and stuff. And then the doctor's like, "Oh, it's just discharge."
What were they testing?
No idea, but I guess like just something. But I just remember her like doing this with her hands, and then like he's like, "And what is this?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's this weird like jelly-like substance that I'm finding in my underwear, and like my underwear's changing colors." And then I remember my mom being like, "Oh," and then he like gives my sister a pamphlet, and it's like, "Let's talk about discharge." You know, and he was like, it's normal. Like this is just your vagina's it's like it's regulating itself, it's cleaning itself.
I remember also being so ashamed of my discharge. I had like really strong discharge as a kid especially. And then I started to use daily pads.
Oh, okay.
You know,
the panty liners.
Panty liners. For that. And then my discharge got even worse because...
Were they scented?
Yeah, because I was irritated all the time, and it was just like a vicious cycle. But like if I didn't wear them, I was always afraid like I'm gonna get wet out down there. So I was so ashamed of it. Like I was happy when I was on my period.
Yeah, because you weren't discharging.
Because I wasn't discharging. But yeah, it's interesting. We have many things to cover. Discharging pregnancy as well.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one.
So make sure to stay tuned to our podcast because we will be covering things like this.
Like on that trend, like my favorite ones are when they ask,
"Are you wet?"
When our team asks, when our team asks brothers or fathers of girls, you know, when did their sisters or daughters get period?
And they're like, "Oh."
Now, like most of them are really sweet about it.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I only saw the negative ones.
Like, no, I remember that dad that was like, you know, he said, you know, when it happens, everybody becomes aware of the period. I know what you're talking about, but I also thought like, no, actually, only like fathers that pay attention and care notice it and know about it.
Exactly.
And become aware of it. So I think that was just so sweet.
Yeah. I love a man that's involved in like either his partners or his like child.
Next level. Like they're just like creatures of like you know, next level conscious.
Yeah. No, and because it's nothing. It's not a big deal. Like it's a natural body. It's
function.
It's a function, and like so for people to treat it like it's something gross or even like unholy or something, like I'm just like, like no, like we're not gonna do that.
Men who understand female bodies and are not, you know, grossed out by our basic bodily functions are, you know, superior. Like, are just like amazing.
Yeah, because they're a dime and a dozen.
100 out of 10.
Yeah, 1/10 of
He's
all
a
of them.
10 out of 10, but he's interested in my period. 100.
100.
Just like 1,000, whatever. Yeah.
He's a 2, but he cares about your cycle.
Oh my God, 100.
Yeah.
Do you think it's on us women to help them destigmatize that?
To some extent, but it's also on our basic educational system.
Absolutely. But also, you know, I have some friends, and two of my best friends just had babies, both boys. And I actually have talked to them a little bit about like, and they have older sisters as siblings, whatever. And I was like, are you going to talk to them about the cycle? Are you going to talk to them? Because obviously I'm always like talking about the cycle. 99% of the time you're talking to me, I'm talking about periods and discharge. So it's like, so are you going to teach them, you know? And they're like, well, as a mother, I want them to understand what their older sisters, like what's happening, and that this is normal, and that if they, if they're hetero, then I want them to understand what their partner is going through as well.
Even if they're not.
Even if they're not. Like 51% of the world, what they're going through, and like what they can do to make it easier for their partner or for their sister and for their mother, like, because it's a huge part of life. Like the female's journey through her period, through, pregnancy, should she choose to be, through menopause, it's hard enough as it is. And whenever you have some part of the population being like, and like, oh, turn it off, or why do you have to have it right now? It's like,
and you said like a crucial thing, pregnancy. It takes two to create a baby.
It does.
And this is where a lot of problems, come up, because men have no idea about the female reproductive cycle.
Absolutely.
And they also have no idea about their own reproductive health. So then often it's like the whole burden of conceiving is on the woman, because she has to track all of these things. She has to plan their sex life. She has to plan everything for everybody, and then they're just like half participating or not even participating in the whole process.
And they're surprised you're pregnant. They're like, what? How did you get pregnant? Well, funny story.
And then also when it doesn't work out as like they meant, like, they're having problems, then it's always the woman's fault. Like she has to get, checkup first or stuff like that. Like there's like so little, in some situations, so little support that women get from their partners. And sometimes it's not intentional. It's just like they have no knowledge at all, and they have never even considered it. Like they have never thought about reproductive health, their partners or their whole life. It's comical.
It's comical.
Yeah, it is.
I guess
comical almost.
Like
it's tragic.
Tragedy. Yeah. But not only that, like, you get pregnant, you have your baby. Let's go into something that like a lot of, and I'm just going to man bash, a lot of men, and okay, I guess women as well. People don't know a lot about postpartum. And I'm not talking about postpartum depression, because when you say postpartum, people are like, depression.
Yeah.
No, postpartum, after you have a baby, you are postpartum. And
the fourth trimester.
The fourth trimester, exactly. There's so little information out there. When we were putting this program together, it was almost impossible to find information about it. Luckily, we worked with this really awesome, she's a doula and a certified nurse assistant. Her name's Sarah, and she's just an angel.
A little digression. We just developed a fourth trimester program.
Oh yeah. By the way,
hasn't launched yet, but it will be announced.
But we have some of it. We have the podcast in our app already.
Exactly. Parts of it are already integrated in our product, but as a full program, it's not launched yet, but it will be very soon. We're working with part of it. But sorry. But continue.
No, absolutely. It's just, there's so little information out there about that as well. And it's really disheartening, and it's really scary, because that's a really scary time. And I know like my best friends and my sister.
You're putting yourself back together, like basically pieces of yourself.
Your organs are reshifting. Your hormones, like they go from like here to just tanking, and like,
the parting of
the diastasis recti, like the check that you have to do because your abs are split, you're healing because maybe you ripped, or, it's a really hard time, and it's a really scary time. And I can honestly say I'm terrified, like, of that time.
I know, like, so growing up with a mother who's an obstetrician gynecologist. Cool.
Lucky.
Fun times. But I grew up knowing more about the topic than I wanted to.
Bless.
So becoming an adult, I thought that I know a lot about pregnancy and what happens after, and like the cycle and everything. But now that I know we put so much work and research into our product, I realize like it's such a like
it's tip of the iceberg.
It's tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things that like are so surprising and terrifying. Like absolutely terrifying. I used to think that only like pregnancy is kind of terrifying, and then labor super terrifying.
And then that's it. You have a baby.
And then that's it. Like you're done. Yeah. Done. No.
There's the healing period, the postpartum period. It's serious.
Close, yeah.
And the postpartum period is 6 to 8 weeks. That's like the normal thing, but we say it's the 4th trimester, so we say it's like 90 days, it's 3 months. Because it really, I don't know, honestly, like I would say the postpartum period and the healing period is a year. You know? I would say
no, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why maternity leave is crucial. Yeah. And 3 months maternity leave, that is considered generous in the States.
2 weeks. 2 weeks is considered generous.
It's not enough. It's ludicrous, and no wonder that so many women are basically forced to give up their career and stay at home.
Because they have.
I mean, I believe that many women choose that path, that they want to be mothers, they want to stay at home, but many women are forced to do so. And war on women. War on women, keeping them out of the workforce, keeping them out of their careers,
not allowing them that freedom to make the choice, and especially that financial freedom that they can have from earning a paycheck, from earning money.
Exactly. So longer maternity leave.
Absolutely.
Right now we are in Europe. Our headquarters is in Europe. Here it's up to 1 year.
Up to 1 year.
And
there's paternity leave.
That's also true. Like that's this, simple. Like so, it's not just for mothers. It's basically basic parental support.
It is, yeah.
It's support for young parents. It's enabling people to have children, to form families, to have a normal life,
and to heal afterwards. Yeah,
exactly.
Do you think like this whole like part of like the 4th trimester and postpartum? Do you think the primary problem with it, other than like men just hate women, is because like it's
hopefully
just
not all men.
Not all men. I know. Yeah,
but the loud men with microphones.
Yeah. Which is why we need to. Okay, we won't go back there. But because it's not being talked about in society enough. Because like I know Sarah also would always talk about how women are just so quiet during postpartum. Yeah. They just they close down and they become reclusive sometimes. And
I think you just don't have energy to do anything else.
But also society, right? Society, people just don't talk about it even after they get out of it. Like they're like, it's the best time. Like I'm just so happy. When really they're cracking on the inside. And it's like, society. I don't feel like we have room to talk about it.
I think it also comes to the myth of becoming a mother. And becoming a mother is your achieving the life goal, and it's the best thing that ever happens. I mean, I believe that it is for some women, but for most women it's not the best thing that ever happened to them immediately. First, it's the most confusing and overburdening and scary thing that happened to them.
Overwhelming.
And I don't think that's taken in consideration enough. And I think a lot of women are compensating for their insecurity and lack of feeling accomplished and happy, and they're trying to hide it from the world because the world would think that they're strange because they're not accomplished and happy,
or they're a bad mother,
So I think society has a lot of work to do in terms of destigmatizing the feelings that women have after having a baby, and not just depression. It doesn't have to be depression. It can be just all sorts of other feelings of discontent or being scared,
anxiety, exhaustion, overwhelm.
Exactly.
And then happiness, sadness. It's a roller coaster. Just like our hormones.
So I think it's not just up to us, just up to women to talk about it, because sometimes we are too scared or too overwhelmed and we just can't do it. I think we need support in that from our partners as well, but then also to from bigger shifts in society and education.
Employers out there.
Employers as well.
No, you have to be able to support these people who are supporting the future generations.
Fun question. What phase of the cycle are you in?
Funny story. I don't track. No, I'm just kidding.
You know exactly.
Yes, I am. Well, okay, so I'm either 2 days. Well, so I'm forever luteal because I have an IUD. But I'm 2 days late because I have an IUD and it's still leveling itself out. So I'm like PMS, about to start my period.
Oh.
Kind of thing. But yeah, hashtag forever
Condolences.
luteal. Thank you so much.
Condolences.
You have no idea how much I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Do I ask you or?
No, I'm gonna tell you next time.
Okay, I like that. I like secrets.
Yeah, I have
I like
a secret to share.
secrets.
All right, but I think we covered a bunch of topics.
I love it.
This first
and we have so
episode.
much more that we're gonna cover in the future.
So much more, and I think this is where also like our viewers can contribute. Like we would love to hear
about your discharge.
and also things that you might be interested in us covering, because we can talk about a lot of things. We will research them in advance. So topics considering women's wellness,
women's wellness, health, Bellabeat, anything really.
Yeah,
anything.
And a fun game for the end.
Okay.
Describe the cycle phase you are currently in with your emojis, and our team, we will try to guess which one is it.
I like that. Yes.
That should be fun.
Yeah. Cool.